What's up,
Oh,
everybody?
should I?
Welcome to another episode of the After Bedtime podcast. I'm Jeremy. This is brought to you by the Black American Dad Foundation, guys. So shout out to Black American Dad. Shout out to African American fathers out there pursuing their dreams, being dads at the same time. We have another great dad here today. This is a friend of mine. I've known him for a few years. We both are Sun Devils. Give a huge welcome to Xavier Style. Xavier, say what's up to the people.
How y'all doing? Happy to be here. Jeremy's the best at this. Just thankful for him providing this platform for dads to be able to tell their truths and hopefully encourage some others to learn more about the insights and stories that we got going on in our lives. Man, I'm hyped. I'm hyped to be on this. I'm a fan.
We are grateful to have you, sir. Just like any of the other dads that we've had on, it's such a privilege to be able to not only listen to you, but to be able to capture some primary source material on the day in the life of a father who is pursuing their dreams, being who they are to the utmost, and being a great father at the same time. Because we know so often people feel like you can't do both; you got to pick one, and it's so cool to be able to be able to speak with you and for you to be able to share that with us. We're internally grateful for that, because I know there's so many dads that'll be able to watch this and be like, if Xavier's doing this, like, then maybe I can do it too. And that's the home run for us at the Black American Dad Foundation, that we'd be able to instill some ideas like that into some people. But let me talk about this man. We talked about Bad a lot. You guys can check out Bad and on his website and everything like that. But this man, a producer, a writer, an actor, a rapper, an all-around artist, a true thespian. This guy has been working in the film industry. How long now have you been working in the film industry?
Probably forever. I mean, I count being a theater kid. I left football. Like I was genuinely trying to be like an outside linebacker or tight anywhere that would take me, but like nowhere crazy. Like NAIA, D2, I was like, I want to play ball. And then I discovered this thing called musical theater. Completely changed my life. Absolutely made me. It was like, oh, I
Like
like this
most football
thing.
players, y'all, they traditionally will make the transition from tackling people and making them concussed to now I'm going to do musical theater.
Yeah, I would like to say that most of the winners of Dancing with the Stars have been NFL players. So I don't
Oh
know if there's a
yeah, that
connective
footwork ain't no
tissue.
joke.
Yeah, like it's performance of it all. I mean, this
Yeah.
season, like I had to like ask, I was like, are they like going to rehearse these like dances that they do in the end zone with their teammates? Because they've become very intricate in a way that y'all can't lie to me. All right. Y'all hired a choreographer or an acting coach and y'all are out there getting busy on the end zone. But I think it's a competition thing, man. I think I loved that world of like athletics and sports, and like theater felt kind of like that the thing that just like was pushing me and drove me to it. But I mean, I went to film school at ASU, and I started making shorts and actually working more with like equipment when I was out in Tempe and Phoenix and Scottsdale. And I think that that's what got me more adept, because I think I got my first internship was when I was a freshman. And then my second internship that I got was like a bigger media place. It was Zucker Productions that happened my sophomore year in LA. And then I think from then I was like, I had the bug. I was like, no, I'm going to LA. Like I was born in LA, grew up in St. Louis, and everybody around me knew. They was like, you're not staying here. They're like, you're going right back, like to the beach. You're gonna make film. You're gonna make movies. My mom was like, you got to get out of here. You got to pursue your dreams. You got to
Yeah.
do like everything you can. And I was like, all right, bet. So
Shout out
now
to
I'm
the
here.
parents being so supportive. I know, like, when you look at your website, you really accredit a lot to like your mom, and also you do touch on like your dad and him and being in law enforcement. And I think that those two roles, mother and father, when they really are supportive of you in whatever it is that you're trying to pursue, can really make a big difference in whether or not you achieve those things. Has your parents throughout the course of your time, like, what was that like for you when you were like, hey mom, like, and dad, like, I know I said I wanted to play linebacker, but really Seven Brides and Seven Brothers is auditioning, and I'm going out for the role of Adam Ponape. So what was that like for you, like from
You
your like
know,
parents' perspective? And then furthermore, like, you're a girl dad. What is that like for you when you think about her and her dreams?
man, that's such a great question. It started, I'll never forget, because I did musical theater in high school, and it started because I did a public speakings course. And I think what we're going to probably like talk about a lot in any space for sure is like support, right? Like support, mentorship, people who really want to see you win, going out of their way for you to do something that they can't really conceptualize. Right. And especially for my mom, I remember coming home and it's like a public speaking teacher. She's also our theater and drama professor at my high school. It was like one of those schools we were like known for basketball and, you know, all of these things. Like, but we also had like a really, really great theater program. And I came home and I was like, Mom, like, the drama professor wants me to try out to this play. It was To Kill a Mockingbird. I've never done a play, but you know, I was always a fan of TV and movies. Like we watched tons of stuff together. Like I loved, you know, Buffy growing up. That was a big one for me. I loved Gargoyles and you know, but I was always like a nerd about it. Like I knew who Greg Wiseman was as a kid. I knew who Joss Whedon was because I'd like read the credits like a crazy person. But not the crazy person now. I realized I was just gravitated towards like the production side and all of that. But I came home and she was like, "Hey," I was like, or the drama professor basically told my mom. I told my mom about the drama professor. Sorry, I had to cut up this section. But I was like, I want to do this. And she was like, I don't know anything about it. My mom immediately was like, I don't know anything about theater, but your cousin Eric was in TV shows and movies. I'll call him. And then my cousin Eric, I did not realize until getting into it, was a part of this really famous Hollywood Black acting family called the Kilpatricks. So he had been in the industry for years. He'd been on movies, plays. He was a fellow in the Black Repertory Theater, and like
Wow.
he was amazing. And he handed me a play called Ceremonies in Dark Old Men. He said like Denzel and like a bunch of other actors had like been familiar with it, but like as a black man, it would help me conceptualize like how dialogue works and what theater is. And he was right; it was absolutely super influential in just me understanding that. But you know, it was my mom being like, I don't know anything about this, but I want to support you. Who do we know who can help figure this out? And you know, every time she was always that sort of person for me. And you know, my dad's from Compton. He was a videographer on the side while he was also an LP. He was always had a camera in his hand. He loved editing. So I think for him, being in LA, being from that area, you grow up having this like natural sense of like, oh, that's a thing. That's a thing people do. That's a job somewhere that somebody has as being an actor, being a director. Like it's not so far fetched, you know? I think for him it was easy for there, but I feel like the support that I got from a mom kind of taught me how I kind of want to operate and move as a parent too, where it's like there's going to be so many moments that you are going to be beyond yourself. Like your kid is going to push you, um, you know, especially if you're supportive, then they are going to feel comfortable enough to try stuff. They just are, you know, if you're there and you're holding it down and you're being that emotional support system that they need, even from a young age, like, you know, it's as simple as this. But, you know, my daughter, like Nora, she'll just jump sometimes when we're at the playground off of something, just knowing that like I got a good track record of like catching her, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, it freaks me out, but it also is just like, oh, this girl like genuinely trusts like me wholeheartedly. And I think it's a little bit like that. You kind of need that ability to be that support so your kid can kind of feel like they can like go off and do whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like the safety net that's always there, like magically. It even as you get older, you know, you leave the nest and now you have kids of your own. It's important, like, because you think about the ventures that you chase, that safety net is still kind of there in the back of your mind. Like, it's like, no, I can do this. I can push. I can go harder. I can go further. I can jump higher. I could do this. And, you know, and I think that those reps that come as a kid in those moments of jumping off the couch or jumping on the trampoline or jumping into the pool for the first time, and feeling that safety of like, no, like I can try this and do this because my parents are there and they support me through it, so that eventually when they're not there, I'm able to do it. I think is so pivotal in whether or not someone has the perseverance to overcome adversity when they are trying to chase their dreams. And that's something I think that goes unnoticed in parenting maybe as much. I don't know if you would agree with that, but I think that that's true.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think it goes unnoticed in the sense of our generation has had to learn a lot in a short amount of time about emotional stability as a family unit. I think that the dads that I know, the moms that I know, the parents I know in general, who I associate with at least, we are the generation that's like, we're in therapy. Like we do emotional
Yeah.
checkdowns. We're navigating and playing with the elasticity of our own internal struggles, constantly trying to be a better person. And I think that that's what makes it so awesome when I'm around like parents and my parent friends like yourself, even where we're in a different pocket. Like I you know, we have some great parents too, but you know, they were working through what they were working through in order to get to that, you know, sort of space. And you know, at the end of the day, no matter what, it's just about being there and being present and being available. It's not about finances or being able to support in that way. It literally is just being there and being able to say, "Hey, I'm here." Whatever you're going through, you know, I have a little girl, and I feel like, you know, we can, the boy dads and girl dads, you know, we can always like go back and forth, you know, but I feel like one of the greatest things that I kept hearing when I kept telling people I was like, I'm gonna have a girl, was just like, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Like you should have a girl. And I was just like, and a little of me was just like surprised. I was like, like me? And then like I looked around at my life and I just thought about like how I have like a lot of strong like, you know, women relationships, whether it be my mentors who are in this like field. Like black women have put me on their back, so white women have also put me in great positions in this industry too. A lot of my friends, just like who I navigate around, like outside of like my homies or whatever, like, you know, I'm a very sensitive, you know, you're an actor, you get it, I'm a sensitive soul, you
You're
know.
in touch. It's not a sensitive thing. It's more you are
Oh,
in touch with your inner
love that.
self. And that's a
Yes,
beautiful
love
thing.
that. Yeah, we are very in touch with ourselves and in touch with our emotions and
Yeah.
being able to, you know, I think growing up, it was always like, man up, man up. And I was never that kid. I just got made fun of because I was just like, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to cry. Like,
Yeah.
sorry. Like, yeah, no, I just fell on the playground, man up. No, I'm going to cry. And yeah, like I'm gonna be me, you know. But when you're in touch with your own emotions like that, like it's hard navigating it, I think, sometimes as a kid in our generation where we, you know, kind of grew up. But when you get older, you're like, wow, like especially having a daughter, I'm like, this is so beneficial for where when she falls or if something doesn't go her way or she gets upset, it's not like it'll be cool. Hey, all right, it's fine. It's like, I know you're feeling big emotions right now. I know you're going through something right now. Yes, it's not great. Yeah, it's so tough to not get what we want. I totally understand. Like, and I think growing up, especially in a black household, you can be like, "What's that's soft? You too soft on her." Like, but it's so important because even my mom was raised in her household. You know, we talking about St. Louis. You know, she's from the North Side. Like, it was no games to be played, and even in the house when she would be able to get to a space that was more calm, she was always very like, let's talk about this, you know, like have a conversation. And that
Yeah.
talking through it was like so beneficial, you know. And I have a 3 year old, 3.5 now, just flies by. And I'm so just thankful that I have those skills to be able to tap into my emotions for her because I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of fun to be a girl dad. Like, I mean, you know, I'll teach her karate and to wrestle and like, you know, protect herself and all of that stuff. But like, to be honest, like to be all snuggled up and soft and to just hold
Oh,
her and watch stuff, it's there's nothing that like compares, you know?
that's so beautiful. It's such like it is it's rare because of when you think about the plight that African Americans have had with respect to their existence in this country, and then you do uh, a micro focus on African American men, and you just really highlight the emotionality that they have been able to expand upon from the existence until present day. It is truly remarkable, right? To acknowledging whether or not you're a human being or not, and being accepted as that. To yeah, you're accepted as a human being, but that doesn't mean that you're a father. And then to that and being, you know, that doesn't mean that you're this or doesn't mean that you're that. The internal struggle of simply just being able to exist from an African American male perspective is something to truly marvel at. And
Yeah.
hearing you share about the cuddles and the moments that you have with your daughter and the gratefulness that you have of being able to just simply be a girl dad. I think about it, like it just to me like echoes throughout like history, and it's just like hopefully like that there is some peace to being able to understand, like, look at this progress, look at this moment, and you're an example of that.
Yeah.
Because there was a time when like that wasn't even like a conceived thought that you could be
No.
this way, that you could conduct yourself in this manner, and it is something to be happy about and to see going forward into the future. But I wanted to ask you about it, like creatively being in the space of a dad, like how has that impacted you? Because he's a filmmaker, y'all. He's a storyteller, he's a writer, he's a producer. So how has that impacted your creative bandwidth? Do you feel like it's gotten less, so you don't have as much time, or do you feel like actually like this window or this house is now just like got even more windows and it's opening up in a way that I never thought before?
That's a good question. I feel like it's expanded way more. Like it opened up the world a lot more, or reintroduced me, I think,
Mm.
to an innocence and like a vision and a perspective that as filmmakers, as creatives, we tend to want to be our, for lack of a better word, artsy fartsy, like bougie, creative. Like I'm only gonna make these sort of
Noir
projects that
film, yeah.
noir. Yeah, it's gonna be so serious and
Yeah.
like it's gonna be like dark lighting and it's gotta like really resonate with like this small circle of people because those are the only people who really respect art. Having a kid immediately reminded me of like how funny just falling down is in a show. Like it reminded me like how fun solving a problem is. Like it just brought me back a lot to just like the human like experience and being like, wow, you didn't need all of this other stuff. You just needed the raw moment. You needed the laugh, the feeling, the someone got saved. It kind of reintroduced me a lot to that. And back to wanting to be the version of her that I need to be for her to be able to feel confident in living her dreams. It's a lot of me is pushing and pushing myself to achieve the things I want to do because I want her to feel like that's just normal, like that's just what it is, like not inhibiting myself. For the parents out there, dads and moms alike, the thing that's probably most exhausting about trying to navigate the creative space is trying to navigate co parenting while having a child and trying to be yourself. I think everything else, honestly, sometimes makes a lot more sense in that world because it's very simple. It's like she needs food to eat and a roof over her head. Got it. What's going to get that going? She also needs to see me happy. How can I get that going? But a lot of the stuff that bogs us down in my situation, a lot of parent situations, if they aren't uh, traditional family unit,
Right. Yeah.
is trying to navigate the space of two households,
Mm.
which clearly could not come to an agreement because you guys are no longer together anymore. Like that started from a place already, and now it's different households. It's hurt. It's old wounds. It's sometimes manipulation. It's all of these things that were already inhibiting your journey already, still kind of existing and being a little bit of a leftover that I think can be hard to navigate for a lot of parents. I think
Yeah.
the other structure, when you are one family unit and you just know your kids are going to be at home and know what they're doing, and you have your wife or girlfriend or partner who is watching and it's not the drop offs back and forth, like I think that there's a great comfort to that. I think that is really powerful. But I know that the artists that I talk to who really struggle to continue finding what they want to do and continue pursuing it in a serious way, in a way that like really works for them and doesn't inhibit their imagination or the lanes that might go this way and that way. Art is art. You want to say that you're going to be a director? Well, let me tell you, God, the universe, whoever you believe in, has a different journey for you.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to look exactly how you want it to look. And when it doesn't look exactly how you want it to look, that's when you fall back on like, well, what are your rocks? Like, and it needs to be yourself, obviously. But, when you have a child as well, like the most important part of it is like making sure that their journey is also like protected and in that way. And we spend a lot of energy in the mix of the bullshit, to be honest. I couldn't figure a better word, but we spend a lot of energy in the midst of the bullshit and the conflict and trying to navigate that part. And I feel like that's usually the biggest challenge, to be honest, in that
Do you
space
think that
is.
that impacts you creatively at times? Like, being so, because, co-parenting, you're right, it can be a challenge, and it's a obstacle in itself that you have to navigate. And it's, your emotions, the mother's emotions and the child's emotions that are volatile in this dynamic. Do you feel like to me, like, I guess I put it to you like this, like, I think why I love filmmaking, why I love storytelling is I think that as a parent that goes through co-parenting, that has gone through the family court system, that there is an element, there is a advantage that I have, because as a storyteller or even as an actor, you have to put yourself into other perspectives that are outside of your own. And through that, it's helped me see things that I know that either I'm right about in regards to what I'm feeling, or that, oh, that sounds like what I was thinking and that ain't right. Like, this isn't something that I should be like I maybe. So I found this way of, like, sort of like a checks and balances, if you will, through the vessel of like acting or even through storytelling, as like an, not only just as a way to gain more insight about myself and to be a better person from it, um, but as a resource to be able to codify a perspective or a circumstance in which impacts a lot of people. It's not easy when you feel like your perspective is not being recognized as important given your role in the child's life. um, and there's ways artistically to express that. And so I wanted to know, like, has there been like moments like that for you, as or has it truly just been like a hindrance that you've just had to find ways to cope with?
Well, I think it's a mix, right? Because I mean, let's talk about talk about it in a couple of different dimensions. The first is, any major life hurdle, if you're a storyteller, is a blessing if you can survive it and make it out, because that gives you something real that people can attach to. Going through co-parenting, being a parent, as far as human experiences go, that is the human experience. It's not everybody's going to have children as much, but it is a very big large part of our community as planet Earth is
Yeah.
being a parent. I bond with people daily at this point who are, who have kids. I see someone with their kids, I'm like smiling, then they see me with my kid, they're smiling, they see me on the phone, they're like, oh my God, you're a dad too. Those conversations I've never had this many natural conversations with this many different people from different backgrounds with different perspectives in my life. And it comes a lot from being a parent, just you know, off rip. And that's been really fascinating to me because what I do, especially with writing and world building, I want to create something that's an authentic, representation of whatever I'm trying to capture, about the world or about a moment or about something that's just on my heart. It's You can't do it without unique perspective, and quite honestly it is usually falls flat and is uninteresting unless it has a character has a hard journey that they had to fight through, or a world that you weren't familiar with that you're being reintroduced to. Me being a dad gave me perspective about my dad. I had a lot of notes growing up. I had a bit of we had a lot of distance. There was a lot of missed birthdays and football games and those sort of things. But when I became a dad, I had empathy for him for like the first time in my life. When I was going through co-parenting, I had empathy for him for the first time in my life. And that was a block that, I've been in therapy, I've been working on a lot of things before then, but that was just that loosened that block for me, that was allowing me to forgive him for the things that I felt like, he could have done better or that I was missing as a kid and growing up in, a lot of aspects. And it wasn't until becoming a dad that like, oh, like that unlocked for me where like I could empathize with his situation and struggle. I could see how complicated things get with two individuals trying to like do what they think is right, but it not aligning. The stuff that I demonized became, well, like in acting, right? Like a movie, the stuff that I demonized or thought was evil, we took the mask off a little bit. And I saw the person beneath that in him through me, basically.
Mm.
And I think that that part is really, something that I didn't understand. And most showrunners that I've always known, showrunner, directors, the most successful creators I've known have been parents. You get a second wind creatively sometimes. And it's not just because you now know what the young kids are listening to and what they're watching, but
No.
that is also a big benefit. We sleep on that, but you have a little intern in your house. Um, you definitely have a little intern in there, and they are keeping you sharp and
Yeah.
telling you
Right
what's
now for
popping
me
out
it's
here.
Miss Rachel. That's what
Okay, yeah, yeah,
my
you're back
15
on
month
it.
old is telling me, yo, Miss Rachel's hot, bro. Like she's got it. She's got it. She's got it. You got to find out what this is. I'm like, we need to make shows like this. Forget about segments, forget about sequences, forget about trying to make it like, make it all make sense. Let's just have you sing some really great songs and have some really light, like bright aesthetics behind you, and the
Yep.
kids are gonna love it.
Bro, it works. Miss Rachel, K-pop Demon Hunters for kids of a certain age.
Yeah.
I know my girl's daughter. She loves K-pop Demon Hunters, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And you watch and you're like, oh, this is a slap. Like this is you just get these new. For Nora, uh she likes Super Kitties. It's not a particularly
Mm.
good show. It's not like even something as a kid that I think like I would have necessarily liked, but singing the songs, and then I looked up the songwriter and I was like, oh, okay, like this isn't like I went into that world, and then you go and you realize like, oh, it's not just her. It's like so many people resonating with this. It's like not being a country music fan, like I don't like country music. And it's just like, well, yeah, actually, you may not. These people do. And as a storyteller, your job is to be able to pull in people. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be able to pull in an audience,
Yeah.
so even in the goofiest forms, the best forms of what you're in, you still are getting it. And once you get the teenage years, it's like that's super helpful because I can lie, I was a pretty cool teenager. I knew everything, and those showrunners are like, "Oh, you don't know about this?" And I'm like, "No, I don't have a 16-year-old. I don't know the actual cool
Yeah.
artist." Yeah, like
Yeah. I don't
everyone's
know
doing.
these things.
What's the everyone's doing the the 6-7 thing, and that was like the first time I felt cool because I am always looking at new artists and new music and just going on sometimes like deep internet k-holes or internet deep dives to try and find new artists. And I remember I'd already seen Skrilla because I'd watched like a bunch of like YouTubes already where like some white boy would go to like the worst neighborhood in the world and do like their own CNN pundit version of it. And he was one of
Yeah.
the artists. And that song came out and I was like, oh well, this is a bop, and then I started seeing it come up, and it was so funny to see the world be like, what does this mean? Like, well, I don't understand what 6-7 is. And it's just like, oh my God, we're just old. Like that is what happens. I remember trying to explain to folks in St. Louis. I'm like, no, Vans is popping, bro. The pack is out of here. Like Lil B, I'm telling you. And
Yeah.
they're just like, we don't understand. We cannot comprehend the thing here. Like that doesn't sound correct to us. But time told, and here we are. And you may not understand it, but generations they get it. Like they tap in. Like being able to tap into like an energy. That's like the thing that I think as an artist is like the biggest pull in. And, we were talking about hindrances with the co-parenting life and trying to like navigate that. I think bandwidth and being conscious of that is probably the biggest challenge. Um, like trying to figure out where to put your spirit and your soul and your energy when you have to
Mm.
take care of a household and also manage residual feelings from something that didn't work out, something that you may have thought was going to work out, and a vision and a picture that you believe was going to happen not
Mm.
happening, and how to be present too. I mean, you're an actor. The number one rule is be present. Like the number one, I think they say, as an actor you have to learn how to listen, like active listening,
Yeah.
and it's hard to active listen and to take in what someone is giving to you if you don't have the ability to compartmentalize or the ability to put your focus into what the current task is, which is to be a human, to be a person. I think that that's probably the
Yeah.
biggest hurdle that happens is, sometimes you got to go from the courthouse to a meeting, or sometimes you got to go from filling out forms and talking to an attorney, and then you have to be with your new partner and laugh. And
Oh my God. Yes.
there's just a lot of, it's a lot of check downs, but I think that that's the thing to navigate, is because
Yeah.
it's so overwhelming what's happening. And especially for a lot of us who are new parents, first time parents who haven't gone through this, who have to like sort of like rewire our brains a little bit so we
Yeah.
can be present in the moment.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that that's why I was saying like it helped. I mean, I think of the advantage of, having a creative outlet being, not only like an outlet for me, but like a hobby, or not a hobby for me, but like a career that you're trying to pursue. You find ways to mesh those lines of what's exactly happening to you versus like what is the essence of what's happening to you, and how can you use that for good. And I think sharing stories in those spaces and in that light um, can really resonate with people that are going through things like that and experience things like that. And I wish I saw more of that. I think that's something that I want to do more creatively, is just being able to express more of that journey, because it is something that people like kind of like shy away from, because it's been around forever, right? Like you were
Oh
talking
yeah.
about, like, the empathy that you feel for your dad, and that's decades ago, that same experience that you're experiencing now, and then even maybe even before that, his dad, or his parent, like it's decades even before that. So it's something that's like been an elephant in our society, in the room, like just kind of sitting there, that nobody ever really talks about, that they just kind of like brush over, like, hey, this doesn't really make a lot of sense. You have like two people that are upset about something, and then one person is using it this way, and another person is using it this way, and then this kid is just getting kind of drugged through all of these things, and it just continuously happens. I wish that, and I think that that's, as storytellers, I think we also have a responsibility to be able to share those things. It is great to just laugh. It is great to just have like, those slapstick
Right.
comedy moments. I love those moments too. But I think it's also upon us, because we have such an awareness of what's happening around us, and we have an awareness of the power of a moment and what that can be like for somebody, that you can use that power for good, and you can use it as a moment for people to be able to just simply think and question maybe a perspective that they have, or a thought process that they have, that maybe they can walk away from that a little bit better than what they were before, or you give somebody a little bit of peace. um, maybe there's a dad out there that's experiencing something, and he can relate to a scene or a moment, and it's like, it kind of happened with us with Kings, and with some of the PSAs that we did, and like there was a dad that like it really resonated with him on one of them, and he was just like, man, like, I'm so grateful that you guys did this, because even just this short little piece, of 90 seconds, it really helped me connect something to myself, that I just had been running from, and I hadn't really acknowledged. And so I think that it is
Yeah,
important to
man.
kind of, and we have the responsibility as creatives to be honest in our storytelling, and that can be kind of tough, because you're going through this family court, like how we were
Yeah.
talking before, and like lawyers don't really want me to say that, but art do, so I'm gonna go ahead
Yeah.
and do it.
It's so funny because I was just talking to this with my friends too, and they're just like, but the joke is like, you look down, you write a scene, and you're just like, oh, I didn't mean to write about two people arguing over who's gonna do the drop off win. Oh, something must be in my spirit. Okay, I didn't realize that, y'all. Like, whoops.
Yeah. Like,
Like,
hey, Xavier, we asked you to do a McDonald's commercial, and this it's like, yeah. This is better though. Like, so
yeah,
let me.
there's a kid, right? In this McDonald's scene, there's a kid, right? They really miss their dad. Let's start there. Let's start at that scene and beat for this commercial. Right
Not sure how
there.
this is gonna sell hamburgers, but damn it, it's good. All right, so let me ask you another question about the industry and kind of what is Xavier, the producer, the writer, the filmmaker, focused on in 2026? Like, what do you think people should be focusing on that are in the industry, given the state of things right now?
Man, go out, create, stop giving a fuck about anybody and what they're worried about. Find your audience. Um, this is the find your audience era. It's no longer like it was before, where you're looking for some sort of studio or production company to sort of push you through. You can push yourself through by creating your own content, whatever that is. You know, when it comes to me, like I plan on, this year I'm gonna drop a full music project, like feature length. I'm already talking to like cinematographers about what those visual components are going to be. We're going to do a lot more episodes of the type 1 diabetes uh I guess podcast, social media interview space that
Yeah,
I'm in. We're gonna do a lot more episodes of that. I have a lot of projects that I've been, I like wrote a horror film last year, and of course, true to writing, it took a couple walks away from that script and some time away from it to come back and be like, that wasn't it. We got to fix it up. So the producer I'm working with right now, who I absolutely love, and he's a great um, filmmaker and executive, uh, going back in and fixing those things and not letting these projects that you don't necessarily feel are going to connect just drop off. Like that's a big thing for me with 2026. Pushing forward. If any, for my personal journey and struggle with parenting life, absolutely changed my uh career and schedule. But talking to other parents who've been in the biz, it's like, well, you got a 3.5-year-old, buddy. You're new to the game. Like you are literally learning as you're going right now. And it takes a little bit of time and space. I think we talk about it with moms sometimes, we talk about it with maternity leave or paternal leave, but there is a transition that like
yeah,
happens where you have to figure out your own checks and balances to get it done. And once you finally feel like you can get it done and you figure out what your rhythm is and you figure out what those like pickups are going to be like and what days school is and that stuff, you're out of here. 2026 for me is those are like my personal 2026s, but I would say to anybody, all artists looking forward for next year, push through, create as much different projects, different tones, different genres as possible. I came into the industry and they were very much so like, do not say you do another thing. Don't give them a hyphenate. You do one thing, you tell one type of story, don't say anymore. And immediately we had Issa Rae. Immediately we had just
facts.
Ava DuVernay. We had people who were able to operate in the non-scripted space. Reggie, oh my God, Reginald Hudlin. There we go, Reginald Hudlin, who was an OG, but like graphic novels, award shows, also can be one hell of a feature film dramatic director. It's if you're an artist, create. Find your audience. They're going to support you. They're going to keep you up. Even if it comes down to grassroots filmmaking, the people who support you, whether it's 15 of your friends, you get 15 of your friends to show up constantly to a music show, you will be able to book a lot of venues in LA. Let me tell you that. If you can get 50 of your friends to show up to 2 premieres and promote the premiere of your short film yourself, then that's 50 people right there who can contribute to your pockets, but also will support you, give you true feedback if you need it. They'll come back because of the support. And we think that it's just about going out to all these new places and new spaces hoping that they'll accept us, and it's like, no, like they are people. They see other people accepting you, they'll accept you. So
Yeah.
just like feeding and tending to your own audience is a big thing I would suggest in 2026, and just not being afraid to try different things, because a part of the bringing your audience thing is that they want to see you make the attempt. They also don't know if you're going to succeed. The attempt is what they're interested in. The haters want to see the attempt too. Like the people who support you want to see the attempt. It's We want to see you go for it. Whether you fail or succeed or whatever your measurements or your metrics are for that, let them be yours. But just going and doing it is the only way that you're going to navigate how insane the landscape has changed.
Does your daughter ex- showcase that she is as creative as you?
Yeah, it blows my mind. But her mom is a former dancer and choreographer, and it started with daddy daughter dance, and then we do like a it started with like dance classes, and it's still hard for me to give up on just not being in the parent and kid dance classes. That was like my favorite thing ever. But I see it all the time in her. Like she just has like a pin, like a flair for like music and dance and movement, but also sports. Like also like in a way that I'm just like, I know that this is also because I'm me. So I'm probably like giving you the biggest emotions ever when I see you catch a ball or throw one really far. But it's there's so many little things that I see that I'm just like she's so interested in things, and I think that that's like so exciting for me. It's just like she's just interested. She's just like, I'll try this. We sing all the time. We sing very loud. We're always doing Frozen. That's like our go-to. Makes we love Let It Go. That's like our bag. She also loves Sister Act 2. Back in the
Yo, my
Habit.
son, my youngest son, is 15 months, and Sister Act 2 comes on. Bro, he is
Bro.
locked in. Happy
Yeah.
day. Let me tell you,
Yes.
he loves it. He's in there with them. He's trying to sing it too. Like it's like Sister Act got it, y'all. Like just like for the kids, y'all. Miss Rachel better watch out because if they put
Yes.
Sister Act on YouTube, y'all in
Yo,
trouble.
it's over for that. She's like,
It's
that's
over
what
with. It's
oh,
over with. You get
happy
Whoopi Goldberg
day.
in a nun outfit. It's a
Like I
wrap,
hear,
bro. I'm trying to
I'll be
tell
hearing
you.
Nora in the back. She'd be like, that not you part, and then she'd be like, oh, happy day. I'm like, girl, all right. Like I'm like, you picked that up quick, but like,
Yeah, Miss
it's
Rachel ain't got that vibrato like
no,
that.
no, no, no. She got, she got the, hey, there was some
Shout
white
out to
kids
Miss
in the mix
Rachel.
at
I
the.
love you,
Hey,
Miss Rachel.
hey,
Thank you
Miss
for what
Rachel
you
could
do for my
be.
son.
She
It's
could
ain't
be
no
the.
knock on you.
Yeah,
It's not.
you
It's
got.
really not.
Yo, Miss Rachel's amazing. We got to support her. You know what I'm saying? She's down. And you look, Jennifer Love Hewitt. She ain't really. She ain't sing. She's in the back
She
doing the
ain't having it
claps.
like that.
She was in the. She was doing the choreography in the back. We got sweet sister. I got a spot for
Yeah.
Miss Rachel.
Yeah, man. uh, but all right, we gotta start to wrap these things up. But I wanted to ask you. This is usually the last question I like to ask dads. Why is it important for you to build your dream?
Oh man, hell of a question. It's so important for us. Well, I'll say it for me. I'll keep it to me. It's important for me to. Is it build my dream?
Yeah. Why is it important for you to
Yeah.
build your dream?
Okay. Yeah. It's important for me to build my dream, honestly, because I have someone now who is completely locked in on me. And that's, the little version of me, which that could be a myriad of things for a lot of people. In my case, I feel like sometimes the little version of me is literally my smaller self looking at my life sometimes and reminding myself 10-year-old you would think this is pretty cool. Like 12-year-old you with what you're doing, what you've done and accomplished so far would be like, what? That's crazy. Like, and remembering that. And also, it's so important for all of us to live our dreams for our kids while we're here because they will take that in and they'll have that. And there's nothing more powerful than it. And you kind of need it. You need that ability to dream so you can even swing and take chances and go for it. Things that may not happen, but that experience of you just trying is everything. So for
Yeah.
me, living my dreams, it's great. And everybody wants the big house that you got off of the dope script and the Oscar and holding an Emmy and, doing
Right.
all that stuff. But
Yeah.
truthfully speaking, like you only want that stuff because you want to like go home and be like, hey, look at this. Dad's good at something, huh? Like you want to
For
you
real
kind of
though.
want to be like,
Yeah.
you want to show that all the work that you do goes towards, something. And even if it doesn't happen the way you want, like you also want to be able to like give that lesson too, Like
Yeah.
I think that that's been the biggest reason for me and dreams, dream chasing, trying to just live it, is just being that representation for everyone to do it. It's scary sometimes, but it's what I want to see from anybody who I have love for, anybody who I love, anybody I've supported, family, friends. Like I want them to experience that feeling because even in the chase, there's nothing like that.
No, it's something that you look back at and your kids will look back at and be like, man, he really went for it. he really dealt with those things. He really did that. He really, all of the reactions to moments in your life of success and failures or shortcomings. And you still continue to push. I think that's for me, the building blocks of building your dream is not so much about finishing it. It's not even so much about starting it. It's about the constant nature of like what you're building and what you're creating, to show that this is what you do. You pick a path, you choose what you want to do, and then you build it, you go after it. And I think that's kind of what our responsibility is as dads, is to lead a path that shows them formulaically how to build their dream. Not necessarily this is how you want to make movies. I know in the industry there might be a lot of nepotism that can get you around to that, which I'm not against. So for all the people that are like, oh yeah, he's team non-nepotism. No, I'm not. I'm a dad. I would 100% do the exact
Yeah.
same thing. I don't care. I don't.
Yeah.
You don't feel bad. But if I could show you how to be successful chasing your dreams, that is transferable. That is something that you can do. It doesn't matter what your dream is. Your dream could be to be a police officer. Your dream could be to be a studio exec. Your dream could be to be a business owner. Your dream could, be a doctor. It doesn't matter, because formulaically speaking, the path is the same. There's going to be adversity. There's going to be success. You got to still find a way to keep putting down those blocks and keep building and keep going. So it doesn't matter where you go or what you do. And it's no better way than actually showing them in the 3-dimensional world. So building your dream it's in a way, it's the lesson that will always keep giving even long after you're gone. That can really help your kids throughout the course of their life. And, hopefully they can continue to do that as the road carries on with the generations that come after them,
100%, bro. 100%.
Yeah. So lastly, this is your moment. Take your time, shout out whatever it is you want people to check out. People, if you haven't, we didn't get a chance to talk about it. This man has a movie on Disney Plus, a short film, Black Belts.
Yes.
Check that out. He produced that. He's produced things for Lizzo. He's produced things for Lil Nas. We didn't do the bragging section, but this is the moment.
Oh, no, I got you.
Xavier can kind of brag, talk your ish, let people know about who you are and what you're about.
Yes, you did a great job. XavierStyles.com. That's my website. Go there. You can find updates there. Follow me on Instagram. Very active on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. TikTok is Emore Apples official. I think Instagram is also Emore Apples official. Definitely go to Disney Plus. Watch Black Belts. I was a writer on it. It's such a big piece. It's about fathers. It's about being a parent. It's about learning to cry instead of fight and argue, and being okay with our emotions. It's a big love letter, and so I want to do more pieces like that. Currently trying to develop a book. And I'll be making some short film content this year that's going to come out, and also be out looking out for my music. Emore Apples is my music stage name moniker. It gives me the freedom to be the type of artist that isn't necessarily weighed down by who Xavier Styles is on LinkedIn specifically. And yeah, check out all of those things. Keep in touch, keep in contact, reach out to me. I'm one of those people. I will totally respond to you. Yeah.
No, y'all heard it, bro. XavierStyles.com. Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the After Bedtime podcast. We really appreciate y'all. This is brought to you by the Black American Dad Foundation. So stay tuned for the next episode where we talk to another great Black American dad.
Yeah, stay tuned, y'all.
Thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of After Bedtime, brought to you by the Black American Dad Foundation. I hope that you were just as much inspired as we were listening to another great dad with his amazing dreams and how he's balancing being dad at the same time. If you want to know more about the Black American Dad Foundation, a dad that'd be great for the show. You want to ask that dad that was just on some questions about his business or his dreams and how he's doing it. Maybe you want to get a little bit more information. Email us at blackamericandad@gmail.com, subject line it After Bedtime, and then go into a little bit more of what you want to know. Other than that, thank you again for listening to us, and hopefully you are inspired. Good night, and we'll see you on the next episode where we follow another great Black American dad.